The truth about men over 40 that nobody wants to talk about. One day he's coaching Little League, fixing the garage door, planning retirement savings. The next day he's buying a sports car, hitting the gym obsessively, and flirting with the barista half his age. And you're standing there wondering what the hell just happened to your husband. It's happening everywhere. Millions of women are watching their reliable, steady partners turn into overgrown teenagers with grey hair. And the worst part? Everyone pretends to be shocked, like the red flags weren't screaming from his ego for years. You think you know your man. You think because he's been with you for 15 years, provided for the family, built a home together, that he's immune to the storm brewing inside. Sister, you're in denial. There's a pressure cooker in every man's psyche, and it erupts somewhere between 35 and 45. Not if, when. The only variable is how much wreckage it leaves behind. Men love to pretend they're unchanging rocks, but hit 40 and that rock cracks wide open. I'm not talking about gaining wisdom or stability. That's the fairy tale they sell. I'm talking about a core meltdown in his brain wiring, his ego, his whole identity. The guy who was content being a dad and provider at 30 turns into a validation junkie at 40. And that addiction drives him to torch everything you've created. See, every man's self-worth is propped up on a shaky pillar, his prowess. From boyhood, society drills it in: be strong, be successful, be the conqueror. That's the code. And for 2 decades, from 15 to 35, it hums along fine. Women notice him. Achievements pile up. He feels invincible. Then time plays its cruel game. At 40, he glances in the mirror and sees a has-been. Not hideous, just ... diminished. The physique that turned heads now gets ignored. The drive that commanded respect now sparks polite nods at best. This isn't vanity. It's an ego implosion. His whole value was tied to being the alpha, the provider, the stud. Now that edge is dulling like a rusty blade. Picture it like this. Imagine you're a top CEO, your identity fused to power and wins. Then age creeps in. You're not fired, but you're sidelined. Multiply that mental breakdown by 10, and you get what's raging in your husband's skull as he confronts his fading prime. But here's the lethal twist. Instead of embracing the shift, modern men freak out. They battle biology itself. And the first victim, your marriage. At 25, a flirty glance was routine. He shrugged it off, knowing he had options. But at 42, that same glance from a younger woman, it's a dopamine bomb. Proof he's still got it. Evidence he's not obsolete. That one ego boost trumps a decade of your loyalty. Why? Your love is expected. Hers is conquest. Fresh, thrilling. This is the ugly secret no one whispers. Married men over 40 are prime for affairs. Not because they're villains, but because they're starving for what you can't supply any more: the rush of conquest without strings. Your devotion, it's locked in. Kids, mortgage, history. What's he gonna do? Not appreciate you? But that random woman at the office who laughs at his jokes. Pure ego fuel. Proof he's still the hunter. Once he tastes that external thrill, game's over. Not right away, but it's terminal. He recalls the chase, the novelty being the prize instead of the routine. That craving gnaws at him, and your solid, everyday love can't touch it. Spot the danger zone when he starts reminiscing about his glory days, with a grin, not regret. Old conquests mentioned with pride, not shame. Stories of bachelor nights told with twinkling eyes, not relief, they're done. That's the fuse igniting. Here's the raw science they skip in biology class. A man's brain reshuffles as he ages. The reward circuits that fired at 25 fizzled by 45. What once sparked joy now barely registers. At 20, a simple date raised his pulse. At 40, he craves a seismic jolt just to feel alive. Your cozy movie night, boring maintenance, that surprise trip, routine, those bedroom routines honed over years. White noise. He needs escalating highs to spark anything, and you, your comfort, security, neurologically neutral. This explains why men's ugliest betrayals spike after 35. Not evil intent, but desperation to feel potent, relevant, more than an aging provider. The guy content with family game nights at 20 needs a secret fling at 40 for a pulse. The loyal partner of 15 years turns capable of heartless acts. I've witnessed it over and over. The family man ditching for his secretary. The faithful husband starting an affair with his wife's friend. The ideal guy nooking his life for an online hookup. And every time, the wife echoes, I never saw it coming. Seriously. You missed him eyeing younger women with hunger. Ignored him perking up at compliments. Felt him detach emotionally while maintaining appearances. Signs are blatant, but women overlook them. It kicks off with nostalgia. He romanticizes his wild past, digs out old photos, shifts sex stories from awkward to wistful. He's not in the now. He's grieving lost virility. Then the new buddy's divorced guys, living free, not friends. Enablers peddling you only live once. Beer nights turn into gripe fests. Reframing your stable home as a cage. Social media amps it up. Hours doom scrolling, success stories, midlife makeovers, second chances. Algorithms feed him. Dudes starting over, scoring younger partners, reclaiming glory. Every swipe whispers life's better out there. Physical shifts roll in. Subtle at first, new cologne, hair plugs, wardrobe upgrades. Then extreme crash diets, steroid whispers, toys like motorcycles. Not for health. For youth, desperation in every gym session, every mirror flex, emotional pullback seals it. He wants guy time, solo trips, vague plans. Either constant arguments or creepy cheerfulness. One builds his exit case. The other masks guilt. What boils my blood? Culture cheers this chaos. Magazines, podcasts, brothers tell him to seize the day, find passion, never settle. They greenlight his ego trip, applaud family demolition. Feelings over vows, thrills over kid security, desires over destruction. No one drops the truth, potency wanes for all. Conquest is an addiction to kick. Lasting legacy beats fleeting highs. Those butterflies, just adrenaline, not depth, passion, novelty, not substance. Instead, they spout empowerment, BS. Live large, follow your gut. YOLO, like a 40-year-old man chasing testosterone highs, differs from a teen girl chasing drama. Both biology's puppets. Both wreck lives for a rush, and those divorced pals, not allies. Recruiters, they poison, she's holding you back. Life's short, they drag him down to validate their regrets. Watch, more time with them, and every marital norm turns toxic. Stability, suffocation, duties, drudgery. Your support, suppression, social media's accelerant. He compares your real grind to filtered fantasies, yachts, arm candy, adventures. Algorithms echo, leavings bold, stayings weak. Happiness one bold move away. The hidden aftermath, 6 months later. New fling flofster, upgrade demands more. Excitement fades, reality bites. Holidays alone, kids siding with mum. Realizing restart at 40 isn't freedom. It's grind. Traded depth for surface, partnership for ego stroke. Women age differently mentally. At 40, society dubs her wise, nurturing, in her element. Value often grows with experience. She operates from depth, not desperation, but men, told they're peaking, yet feeling the slight hair gone, gut out, stamina dipped. While women hear fine wine, men hear past prime. Men approach aging with bravado masking fear. Women with grace. His crisis. Buys toys, chases skirts, hers. Rarely family shattering. This asymmetry matters. Women with a time, with resilience. Men with denial. A 45-year-old woman knows loyalty's gold. A man thinks his window's closing, acts on every flirt, post-exit. They rewrite the script. Marriage never clicked. She changed, good times erased. Spats amplified to abuse. He casts himself hero, you villain to dodge guilt over ego-driven ruin. Kids. Pawns in his youth quest. They'll adapt. Want me happy. But kids crave routine. Both parents. His thrill trumps their world. Timing's clockwork. Kids independent. Life easing that's detonation. Free time breeds comparison. Scrolling regrets. Morning pre-dad freedom. Gap between past stud and current dad snaps him. He's not pitting against reality. Against illusion. Eternal vigor. Endless chases. Perpetual alpha status. Your real partnership loses to fantasy flings. The peril peaks with one specific woman. Not generalize. Her. Co-worker, ex, trainer said an option. Just friends, he claims. But shifts. Her name drops oddly. Phone guarded. Excuses flow. Fights or fake nice building case. Or hiding shame. Once started. No salvage. He might return, post-flop, remorseful, pleading. But he's altered, haunted by comparisons. Not your man. I know men with empires, devoted wives, dream homes. Thriving kids who ditched for a fling, noticing their vibe, torched 20 years for gym passion. Not from bad wives, but familiarity's boredom. Familiar doesn't spike a 40-year-old man's ego. Sick truth, they know the Toll family shattered. Kids scarred, real for fake, but aging dread overrides love. Rationalize, kids resilient, grew apart, lies masking ego over everything. It's not you. He's fleeing his fade, not your flaws. You symbolize what he hates. Settled life, passing time, cruelty. You chose him in his prime, built amid options, reward. Dumped when he panics. Needing you most, society claps. Bold move, rediscovering, ignores wrecked wife, explaining daddy's new friend. Shattered homes. Cost of male, midlife ego. Modern men aren't wired for endurance. Programmed for conquest, status, highs. Taught feelings, trump foundations, commitments trap, thrills, truth. When marriages spark dimsers, it does, they bolt. Not all men. Some grasp prowess fades, character lasts. Excitement temporary, legacy eternal. Being kept forever beats serial chasers. But rare culture pushes opposite. If your man's nearing 40, monitor. Not affairs, but panic. Youth obsession, past longing, validation hunt, duty resentment. These signal implosion. He'll raise your world, kids' foundation, shared years. Truth no one voices. Men over 40 don't just stray. They demolish. Not malice, but terror of decline, irrelevance, mediocrity. In fear, they'll burn all for one more alpha rush. Consider yourself warned, but let's dive deeper. Because this isn't just a surface-level crisis, it's layered, insidious, and rooted in decades of societal conditioning that no one dares to unpack. Think about how boys are raised from the cradle. They're told stories of heroes, warriors, explorers who conquer lands, win battles, and claim prizes. The prize? Often, it's the admiration of others, the status that comes with being the top dog. Fast forward to adulthood, and that translates into career climbs, financial wins, and yes, romantic conquests. For a young man, every promotion, every date, every gym PR is a hit of that sweet validation. It's like a video game where the levels keep coming and the rewards keep flowing. Now, hit 40 and the game changes without warning. The levels get harder, but the body and mind aren't leveling up anymore. That promotion, it goes to the hungry 30. The gym gains, slower, with more aches. The glances from attractive strangers, fewer and farther between. Suddenly, he's not the hero anymore. He's the side character in his own story. And that's where the real terror sets in, not just the physical decline, but the narrative collapse. He's been scripted as the eternal conqueror. But biology is flipping the script. I recall a client of mine, let's call him Mark, solid guy. Mid-40s, executive job, 2 kids in high school. Wife who'd stood by him through thick and thin. One day, he starts talking about his college football days more than usual. Not just casual mentions, full-blown stories at dinner parties, pulling out trophies from the attic. His wife laughed it off at first. Then came the CrossFit obsession. Not for health. He was chasing PRs like a man possessed, posting shirtless selfies on Instagram for the first time in years. Likes rolled in, mostly from younger women in the fitness community. Boom dopamine city. Next thing, he's networking late nights, phone buzzing with messages from a colleague. His wife found out about the affair when he accidentally left his smartwatch synced. The texts, all about how she made him feel alive again. Mark didn't leave because his wife was lacking. He left because she represented the end of the conquest phase. She was the prize he'd already won, and winning isn't as fun as the hunt. This pattern repeats ad nauseum. Men over 40 start seeking out environments where they can recapture that hunter vibe. Golf trips turn into boys' weekends in Vegas. Work conferences become hunting grounds. Online dating apps, downloaded in secret, even if they're not planning to act yet. It's the possibility that hooks them. The what if that floods their system with chemicals they haven't felt since their 20s. And me. Here's a brutal addendum. Porn plays a massive role here. Easy access to endless novelty warps their expectations. What used to satisfy in the bedroom now feels mundane because their brain's been trained on hyperstimulated fantasies. Your real, loving intimacy, it can't compete with the infinite scroll of perfection. Let's talk about the financial angle, because it's not just emotional, it's practical destruction. Men in midlife crisis mode blow fortunes on their reinvention. That sports car, not a toy. It's a $100,000 symbol of virility. The wardrobe overhaul. Thousands on designer clothes to look relevant. Surgeries, hair transplants, lipo-botox, rack up bills that drain joint accounts. And if he leaves, divorce lawyers feast while you fight for scraps. I've seen women left with nothing because he funneled money into his new life fund. Offshore accounts, hidden assets, all to fund the fantasy. He rationalizes it as investing in himself, but it's ego preservation at your expense. Society's complicity is even more infuriating when you zoom out. Hollywood glamorizes it. Think the silver fox, romancing the insinuate in every rom. Ads sell Viagra and testosterone boosters as reclaiming your edge. Therapists, many nod along, suggesting space or self-discovery without calling out the selfishness. No one says, "Hey, dude, your journey is code for abandoning responsibilities." Instead, it's celebrated as growth. Meanwhile, you're gaslit into thinking you're the problem. Too nagging, too settled, too mum-like. Bull, he's the one regressing. But what about prevention? Is there any? Spot the microsigns early. Does he suddenly critique your appearance more? That's projection, his insecurity mirroring back. Is he obsessed with success metrics, net worth, follower counts, bench press max? Red flag for external validation, dependency. Does he downplay family milestones in favor of personal wins? He's detaching. Build conversations around shared futures, not past glories. Encourage hobbies that foster depth, like mentoring or community work, over superficial thrills. But honestly, if his identity's built on conquest, it's a ticking bomb. Therapy might help if caught pre-explosion, focusing on redefining masculinity beyond prowess. Teach him that true strength is endurance, not endless wins. Post-betrayal, the gaslighting intensifies. He'll say you drove him away with your expectations, or that the marriage was stale. Rewrite history to absolve himself. Don't buy it. Document everything: texts, finances, for the inevitable legal battle. Protect the kids by framing it honestly but kindly. Dad's going through changes, but our love stays. Seek support groups. You're not alone. Rebuild by reclaiming your narrative. You're the steady force, not the discard. Extend this to broader culture. Why do we let men skate on this? Women face aging scrutiny, but men's crises get a pass as phases. Time to call it out. Men over 40, own your evolution. Chase legacy, not youth. Families deserve better than being casualties of your ego war. The thrill fades. The damage lasts. Wake up before it's too late. Now, let's peel back another layer. The hormonal reality no one discusses. Testosterone peaks in the 20s and drops 1 to 2% yearly after 30. By 40, it's a cliff. Energy dips, mood swings, libido wanes. But instead of medical check-ins, men self-medicate with risks. Affairs spike endorphins, mimicking that lost tear rush. Doctors push TRT, testosterone replacement, but it's a band-aid, doesn't fix the psychological void. Combine low T with societal pressure to man up, and you've got a recipe for implosion. Consider evolutionary psychology. Men are wired for provision and protection, but modern life dilutes that. No saber-toothed tigers to fight. Just spreadsheets and soccer practices. Boredom breeds restlessness. The midlife man seeks purpose through novelty, mistaking adrenaline for meaning. That younger woman, she's not love. She's a proxy for lost vitality. I've counseled dozens like this. One, a surgeon, left his wife for a nurse. 6 months in, regret hit he missed the depth, the history. But pride blocked return. Now he's alone, paying alimony, seeing kids weekends. Lesson, the grass wilts fast. Women, empower yourselves. Financial independence is key. Don't rely solely on him. Cultivate your circle, hobbies, career. If he bolts, you're not starting from zero. And to men listening, redefine success. Be the dad who shows up, the husband who stays. That's the real conquest against time itself. In the end, this crisis isn't inevitable for all. Men raised with emotional tools, who value introspection over bravado, navigate better. But in our culture, rare. So watch, prepare, and remember, his storm doesn't define your worth. You built the life. You can rebuild without him. The truth hurts, but ignorance destroys. Heed the warning, or become the statistic.